I mean, I don't know. I'm probably gonna wait a couple minutes just because there's no way this many people coming. Everyone RSVPs and then it's like 2 people show up. Yeah. How are y'all's classes though?
What?
How are your classes?
Like the normal classes.
Yeah, like your classes.
Normal, yeah. They're good. They're fine. No problem at all.
What do you study again?
Computer science.
Computer science.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Not as interesting as Claude Code.
Yeah, definitely not as interesting as Claude Code. Which is like, I don't know. Like I do CS in education. I'm concentrated in learning sciences and learning technology. And like I'm all about like using Claude Code in schools, using AI in the curriculum and all of that. I'm all about building technology that's backed by a Claude Code to teach people stuff and all of that. So yeah, this is going to be helpful for today. It's on my GitHub. I'll probably link it on Discord. But that's the template that is going to be starting. It's going to be like a walkthrough where I show how I use Claude Code to build a full end-to-end app. This app is essentially an appointment scheduler. It's a very basic and bare bones appointment scheduler where you tell your LLM to schedule an appointment, and then it pulls from the Google Calendar API. It gives you an email confirmation via the Google or the Gmail API, and then it gives you the confirmation, then schedules the appointment on your calendar. So that's pretty much that in a sense. So I'm gonna link that so y'all can keep that as a template. You'll want to clone it, and that will definitely be useful. Where is the server? Alright, yeah, go ahead and check that out. You want to clone that. That's going to be important. How are you? Yeah, this is the workshop. Yeah, Claude Code. Ash won't be here, so I'll be covering it. That's on Discord. We're gonna start with that. It's an appointment scheduler. It schedules an appointment and puts it on your Google Calendar. It's a Ruby and Rails web app. I think I have instructions on how you can run it locally. The only problem is that y'all need your keys, and y'all probably don't have Google Cloud subscription and all of that. So you're probably not going to be able to run the app, but you're going to be able to build it with Claude Code, which is kind of the end goal. I'm going to like show you how I build it with Claude Code in a sense. Yeah, I might like wait 4 minutes and then go ahead and start. You can use those 4 minutes to essentially take that and clone it into your thing. If you have Docker, that's good, but you still might not be able to run it because you need all the credentials for the calendar API and all of that. So, but it's not important. Obviously, the end goal is to build with Claude, not to use Google Cloud and put in the credentials. So, yeah. What's your name? Rithwik.
Yeah, are you Anirudh?
Yeah, I'm Anirudh.
Yeah, I messaged you about.
Oh, really? That was you? I never have faces to names.
Yeah,
I just
I
message a
see,
lot of
yeah.
people on Discord.
I was putting your face, like, I was thinking Anirudh was some other dude, actually.
Really?
I haven't seen you.
There's a lot of Anirudhs.
Okay.
There's like 2 other Tamil Anirudhs on campus. Yeah, I know there's so many. Yeah. What year are you?
Freshman.
Freshman? Yeah, there's a lot of freshmen in this thing. Like, I'm trying to get freshmen because, like, obviously they're going to be here. They're going to be consistent. They're going to, yeah. I think I've convinced, like, a lot of people to join. How often do y'all look at the flyers in, like, here or, like, Siebel CS or, like, anything like that? Do y'all look at any of those flyers?
I've seen one in CCC.
Like, y'all see them, like, okay. Because, like, I don't think people look at them. So, like, there's no point in me making flyers.
I've seen more.
Okay.
Maybe in Granger? Did you put in Granger?
Well, I haven't put any flyers. I'm asking, do people look at them? Because if people don't look at them, there's no point.
Yeah, somewhere. I don't know where.
Well, Keywords Hackathon, that's where I joined from the hackathon. Ash was there. He did the hackathon, and then he gave the invite in the server for the Keywords Hackathon. And then I joined from there. So that was his advertising. But honestly, flyers probably might not be effective then if no one looks at them. Conch, when is your 340 exam?
9.
9? Where? Granger?
No, see,
C1.
yeah,
There's no coding problem, right?
right.
Okay, that shouldn't be too bad.
I heard the MCQs are tricky. Watch out.
Yeah, I mean, I just had Claude study for me, so I was like,
I was doing everything, bro.
yeah. Man, I'm sad with this turnout. Why did so many people RSVP? There was like 15 RSVPs or like 20 RSVPs.
Yeah, I'm surprised because usually on Friday there's a lot of people as well.
I think what happened is that
Yeah, hop in.
how are y'all? Yeah, no, I pushed it to today because the datathon is tomorrow.
What's the data time?
Like the datathon with Synchrony.
That's not. Oh, okay.
No, I'm just saying that like the datathon is tomorrow, so I wouldn't be able to host the workshop, so I had to push it today.
Who's hosting the data time?
Synchrony, and like the school, this school and Synchrony are hosting it.
I don't know.
Oh, well, it's happening on campus, and I'm part of it. So because of that, I don't know. I have to host it today. So
Maybe Thursday 6 p.m. is done.
how many people came to Yassine's workshop?
Is that before the break?
Yeah, it was like the one before break.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to raise your hand. I was just curious, like how many of y'all, like how many people came? Like, do y'all remember a number?
Oh,
It's like 10.
It was like 10.
10 or 15.
Really?
So.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, then. I think I'm just going to go ahead and start rolling. Kind of the main point here is to really show how you can build something with Claude Code. So that's really the main goal. For those of y'all who just got here, this is a very basic bare bones appointment scheduler with your Google Calendar. So you natural language type an appointment you want to schedule, and and an AI agent will put that in your Google Calendar. So that's really the whole point. And it's very basic, bare bones, because there's not enough time to do additional features like rescheduling and canceling and all of that kind of stuff. So not really important, but if y'all have heard of Ruby on Rails, I thought Ruby on Rails was a good framework to work with this. So I had Claude make it with Ruby on Rails just because it's good with multi-file stuff. So I put this repo on Discord. It's a template repo that we're going to be using for this workshop. So whenever y'all got that ready, clone it, put it in Cursor or whatever AI editor y'all use, and then we can get rolling. Let me what dorm do you stay at?
Weston.
Weston?
Yeah.
That one's a good one.
What year are you?
I'm a second.
Second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to live in ISR.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How do you like Western?
It's good. It's nearby and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
I applied for the LSE, that's why I got it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and all of Weston is an LSE.
Oh, really? I never knew Six Pack worked. Yeah. One of my best friends, he's in my major. He also was in Weston.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a twin brother that was in Snyder.
Yeah, Western's pretty awesome. You just have a dining hall by Arc right there.
Yeah, ARC is right there. That's like the main thing.
What's
Yeah.
your name? Econ. Are you also top one? Okay.
Are you a CS major? CS something?
I'm stat.
Stat, like yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What got you into agentic AI?
I mean, I'm doing a CS minor, so
Okay,
I'm
so
still
Ah,
interested, yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Honestly, like anyone can like. There's no point in coding it. Like
Everyone should be
anyone,
learning Claude.
anyone can code now. That's the
I
thing.
agree. Everyone should be learning Claude.
Yeah.
This is too powerful.
It's too. Yeah, like literally, like AbbVie, like their qualification. I highlighted it and put it on Discord. If y'all saw, they asked for Claude Code as a preferred qual. It was like.
So powerful.
No, I like literally like the question in the interview was like, when you come out of this opportunity, what do you want people to recognize you as? And I said, I want people to know me as a Claude Code guy.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah.
Running 10 cloud instances at what time?
Yeah.
Parallelization.
Yeah. Ash uses CMux as his terminal, but I roll with Ghosty.
You use Ghosty?
Yeah,
I do terminal.
or Ghost TTY, whatever you want to call it.
I know something about conductor. You use that?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Conductor.load.
Yeah.
What's Ghosty? Is that the same thing as or like
It's another terminal.
that's just a terminal?
I used to use Alacrity, but like, All right, y'all have that, and y'all have your Claude running. Does everyone have their project? Everyone's got their stuff?
Would you say it was in you?
Yeah, I know. I just want to make sure everyone's on the right page before I continue. So, you can look at it, and a big part of how I structure is I have my commands. So, y'all are probably aware of commands, but they're essentially just they're like what you do with the slash commands in Claude Code. So I can go into Claude Code and I can just do slash commit, and Git will do, or Claude will do a commit with me via Git. You can just do like slash, like those are the slash commands in a sense. So I have a slash build command that is essentially a one-stop shop to building the entire application. And if you want to look at it, it does it via the 4 sub-agents that I have defined in the agents folder of my .claude. So I have an agent builder, which is all about essentially just creating the agent loop, and it's just basically making sure everything is done okay with the Claude API. And then I have the API integrator, which is all about making sure the Google Calendar API is all wired in with the back end and with the front end. And then a scaffolder sub-agent that's all about that's all just simply about just doing the appointment model, like building the project all together, adding the required gems in the declarative gem file with all your packages. So just making sure all of that. And then I have a test writer, which makes sure that like all the tests can be run. So the main idea, if y'all like know, sub-agents just help you scaffold quicker. You can give Claude basically just the way for it to do many different tasks at once. And I'm gonna kind of show how that's gonna work live. Another thing is, I'm sure y'all are aware of skills. Skills are just basically slash commands, but the difference is you trigger them via natural language. So you just use natural language, like I can say, hey Claude, commit my changes. So it'll call my commit skill, and it will commit my code in a certain way that I tell it to. So the best part is you don't need to code for any of this, right? All of it's in markdown files, which I think you've seen mentioned in the last workshop. So that's pretty much that in a sense of how I structure my Claude folder for this project. So I start with having a specification. So I like to have this spec, and the spec is kind of the way that you start any project, right? You don't start the project by just having Claude like simply write code. The best way is to kind of like create a model of how your project should be created. So you gotta like explain what it does. You gotta explain the end-to-end flow that a user does in a certain project. You gotta explain the specific pages that'll be there on the front end, the specific API endpoints that'll be there for a back end, and all of that. And then like all the tools the agent has available and whatnot. And then obviously you have your Claude.md, which is kind of like your memory in a sense. It's like the memory for Claude, it's its brain. So this is like essentially defining your tech stack, the conventions, everything that like you should do conveniently for it to run your app, write the tests, do everything that you need for a standard end-to-end app, kind of explaining the project in a sense. Because when Claude gets stuck, it goes back to this, and it uses that to essentially read, to essentially continue building your project. Yeah.
Like, does it update the cloud.md?
Honestly, it's a good practice to do that. Yeah, I know Ash likes doing that. For now, I kind of didn't do it that way because I made it very thorough and specific with the way I want to like build, right? Like if you see my claude.md, right, it gives the dependency map of how the task should be handled. It gives like the way subagents should be delegated. It gives the way like all that kind of stuff to where I kind of just make it thorough enough. And since this is such a basic thing, since there's no time to actually create something big for like a full-on production system, this is just something that'll run in dev with a Docker container. So that's why it's like not really for me like a thing for me to update as we go, but it's already thorough enough for the sake of this demonstration. So that's pretty much that. I think that's really everything. You have your docs that basically define how you should build. Another thing is when I have Claude build, I like to build it in the way where it's divided into tasks. So the way it is obviously first you set up your foundation and then you have it create each model and have it create each feature. And when it creates each feature, I also explicitly mention it to write the tests. So it should write tests for each features, and it gives the expected outcomes of what should be done before continuing on to the next task. And by dividing your project like this is really, really important because then you don't like run into like issues, like especially if you're using Git and like you realize that something later on when you're using Claude to develop and Claude like kind of hallucinates when writing your code, then you can always like roll back or do something, and you can just essentially make sure every phase is well done, all the tests pass, and it's in a workable state of an application before you essentially continue. So I think that's pretty much it. So I would have done it from scratch, like starting off with the docs, but there's just no time. That's kind of like the main problem. So I kind of just started off with a template that gives you the whole like kind of basic working application. If you have Docker, you can run it, but nothing will work because you don't have credentials. But basically just the way I start is I start with the simple docs folder and I load my agents and skills and commands, and I define my task, or Claude writes the task that it should be done. Claude then writes the specification of what should be done when building, and then another way to just kind of monitor how Claude is building the application overall. Is that good? Anything I need to further clarify or anything? Does that make sense? Alrighty, so I guess with that being said, so coming back to task.md, the way I like to do it is I like to do it in a way where Claude Code constantly references this task.md file. And phase 1 and phase 2 I already finished for the sake of time, so you already have that in your template if you got it from my link. The next thing is really continuing to call phase 3. So I'm gonna come into my Claude session, and I panel it in a way where if I have like anything general, I have my left session. My left session is really anything kind of like general, like anything like maybe DevOps, for example. If I'm having issues like building in dev or anything like that with Docker and whatnot, I do that with the left panel. And then the right panel is what I'm using to go ahead and build. So I'm going to go ahead and continue demoing it from here. So it's going to start with the next phase. So Claude just already finished phase 2 because I had to do that earlier before this workshop happened. And then, so if y'all want to follow along with me, but we're going to go ahead and finish this full end application, starting with the third phase that I created in the task.md. So we're going to have it continue. And what's really nice is that I already defined like the way that Claude should build this product with, where is it? It should be in my, it's in my claude.md, yeah. Where I have it tell already where when tasks should run in parallel. So obviously it's going to take a lot of time to essentially, yeah, that works. Yeah, that works. Well, I don't want to close the terminal, but yeah, there we go. You can see what's happening is there are 3 tasks. You can like look at those tasks in my task.md, what they specifically do. But you can see how the way I defined my agents in the .claude agents folder, it is literally running 3 sub-agents in parallel to complete a task. So I don't have to wait for this task to finish. They will all run in parallel, and they all will work in parallel in a way where I don't have to wait on one of these to do. Obviously, some tasks will depend on others, so then you'd have to like sit and wait for it to develop, and then during that time, you can launch another session, and you can debug other things like DevOps. So we're gonna go ahead and continue. This is just having it get the gems from the Google API wrappers, calendar in Gmail. Yeah, we're gonna have it create for the tools, for the tool calling, so that it's able to effectively schedule the appointments. Yeah, we'll go ahead and continue. Yeah, we'll continue. I'm not gonna accept edits in this time, so just so I can like watch and like show y'all in the live demo. So this is yeah, we'll have it create a tool that lets us send an invite directly for the appointment, and then yeah, we'll continue. And yeah, okay, yeah, we'll keep it rolling. So you can see that it just ran those tasks in parallel. So it's just a way to. Is my thing not updating? Hold on. Yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna run accept edits, I guess, just so that we don't like have to keep hitting enter. That's just gonna run, see how things go. But you can just see in parallel how all these are running. And that's kind of the big key of using Claude Code effectively. Instead of just sitting and waiting for each task to finish as part of building the product, you run 3 things in parallel in a sense. Another thing is, I forgot to talk about superpowers. I'm sure y'all are aware of superpowers. I use it pretty extensively. Y'all can install it. It's just /plugin install superpowers or whatever. You can go to his repo and install it. I think if Yassine covered superpowers already, so not really a big deal there. Y'all probably are aware of it and whatnot. So now we're gonna have Claude run the 3 agents. While that happens, oh, it already finished. Nice. All right, yeah, this is just gonna do the task, make sure that every task is done properly. And then now, yeah, it's running in the background for the next one. So I'm gonna go ahead and run the tests and see how they are from, that's weird. Let me fix that. I'll take care of that later. All right then, yeah, so yeah, let it just go ahead and roll the next task in the phase, and then we can just test at the end of the phase, I guess. But basically what's just happening is I have a well-structured tasks file that I told y'all that really shows how the app should be built in a sense. So Claude will come back, it'll keep looking at this. It's told to keep looking back at this when building. And with the claude.md, like I said, with the dependency map, it knows when to run sub-agents in parallel, and naturally it'll decide when to use the agents that I have defined. Following along? I've been super stressed and tired today, so if I haven't been like,
I just have a question.
yeah.
Can you like open up another session that have like the history of the previous changes?
So like see what I like the other session I had?
Like, can you like open up another session that like have all your history?
History of like what?
Like talking to the agent.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can like run that real quick. I forgot which one it was. Like you kind of want to see how I previously talked to it and like if that like that. Yeah. I forgot if it was this session or if it was the previous session. But I had a really good one where I used superpowers and like did all the brainstorming and everything, but I don't think I have that session with me. I think I nuked it.
So is superpowers the first thing you do? And then does that generate the docs automatically, or do you tell it to generate the docs?
So yeah, superpowers. The most effective way is obviously like they have many other like skills that you can use, but the most effective one is brainstorming, where you literally like can say like I'm trying to brainstorm this. I'm trying to basically explain, or I'm basically trying to like do these features, and it'll look back at what you created with your spec and with your tasks, and it'll give like it'll give like a checklist in a sense. I could probably show that really briefly actually.
Okay, so do you have the tasks and like the build and the docs all done before you call brainstorms, or do you have them?
Yeah, so that's the very first thing done.
So do you type them? How do you tell Claude to generate those, or do you type it in yourself?
Yeah, I typed it in
You type it
myself.
yourself?
With superpowers, I told superpowers to do the brainstorming, and when it comes to brainstorming, and then it'll like write the task. It'll write all of that. Yeah,
So are the other docs like generated by Claude, or do you just type them yourself?
they're generated by Claude, and like I like watch them and I
Okay.
do the changes. Yeah, none of this is written by me.
Okay.
All of it's Claude written, which is why it's so difficult to kind of like do these workshops, because it's like you let Claude run, and it's like, well, here's what Claude gave you. So I guess like really the only way I can like explain it is I don't know, just showing you how I've typically run Claude on a daily basis. So I think it's the other one. Does this have everything? I don't know.
So are like the tasks like 3 and 4? Is that also the brainstorming going about organizing the tasks?
Well, like when those tasks were like created.
Yeah, is that brainstorming like?
Yeah, like all of that was done ahead of time. Like that was the first thing I did with superpowers brainstorming.
Okay.
Yeah. But to answer your question, kind of in a way, like this is kind of like my previous sessions in a sense, where I tell it to, I guess I can start with how I created it. So when I started this project, I had a scaffold skill, and that was essentially going to be in charge of creating task by task with running the tests and running the application in localhost. So with that, then I was able to essentially, it was able to look at my task.md, and it was able to scaffold it was able to scaffold the Rails app, because it knew that was the first task to do, and then essentially from there it kept running and it kept scaffolding, and it kept doing that until it got to the next task. Then because I told it to run the tests and run in localhost, it was also doing that as well, which I don't know if it did that in this situation. Yeah, I did this at 5 a.m, so please bear with me. But yeah, so the next thing is the way I've seen with superpowers is you kind of really have to like tell that you want to spin subagents with superpowers. So the way I did it is this one was nice because it was naturally done. So it knew superpowers knew that when I dispatched it knew that I had to dispatch parallel agents, because it knew that those could be done without the tasks depending on each other when it comes to building the application. So I told it to spin some subagents and do and use the superpowers skill to make it faster, to keep the development going on. So hopefully that answered your question. I did this at 5 a.m, so it's like, but that's basically how I do it. A lot of it's just naturally done. It's also a little bit more difficult because I did a lot of like the skills and everything beforehand. I can link a repo to where I do the skills and all this stuff. I do subagents based on project, so I don't have that, but I can show you my skills. Let me put that. Huh? Yeah. Well, I'm just putting the link on Discord. Yeah. But this template is what I do. This is a skill that will automatically do any commit, like I mentioned earlier, and it does it in a certain way where it mentions the type in parentheses with the scope and then the description. This is all for open source contributing, so like creating an issue, creating PR, fixing an issue, reviewing a PR, and all of that. This is to immediately scaffold a project. So it's just the build skill in a sense, where I make it in a way so that every single project has claude.md, which is like the rules, the conventions, and everything of how the project should go, and then the tasks of like how the task should be built. So basically, these three things are mandatory when it comes to building a full project. I just prompt it in that way. Then when it builds, it identifies the current task, and that's what I was mentioning, right? I was mentioning how that task.md is so thorough to the point where this skill is going to tell Claude to identify the current task that's being done, make sure that it plans everything before even implementing the task, and that goes hand in hand with superpowers brainstorming. So yeah, that rolls, and then it goes ahead and it implements, and then it verifies. You can get a more look at that. You can look into my repo for that. Then I have the screen recording skill that just essentially will screen record any project. It like kind of like does a Mac app container for a screen recording project. This isn't actually mine, it's from Ash, so you can talk to him more about that, but yeah. This is a spec write, so this is actually what's going to write the spec.md file. The spec.md file, like I said, is just what the project is, what it does, what's the end goal, how it should run in development, and how it should run in production. So that is the skill that will write the spec. And then this is the skill that I'll write the tasks. And then my simple build.md, Claude looks into it, and it's just another, I think I just did this as a filler, but the scaffold skill already kind of takes care of what this does.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So how do you like import these skills? Because you keep using them for projects, right? So do you have them saved in your like main Claude data or something like that, or like how do you get them like for every project? Because you're gonna reuse the same skills, right?
Yeah, so I don't like to do the user skills just because like I don't know, because my skills like really vary across projects. Like anything open source will obviously use like commit and stuff like that, but it's like Python, right? Python, you create virtual environments every project. Like I don't install any dependencies for the main Python. I always create virtual environments and install that way. I like to do that because every project like maintains its modular thing. But yeah, you the way it works the same way in your home directory .claude. You put your skills in that way. But I don't do that just because personal preference. I just do it on a project basis.
So you know what all these skills do, and then if you need them, you just tell Claude to install them for the project.
Well, it references them, right?
Okay.
So you would just do it via natural language, or you could trigger them via /command manually.
Okay.
So that's what's great because it knows with your skills
Oh,
and
you're
.claude
okay,
skills.
okay.
It knows naturally. Like I can like tell it to commit a change, like I can like tell, like I can either manually do it with /commit, or I can say commit task commit phase 3, and and you can see that it pulled the skill, right? It loaded it and it was able to do the natural commit, and
So does it automatically like know which skill to use? You don't need to really call it.
yeah, and that's with the prompt engineering with the markdown, right? That explicitly told you.
Claude MD or what's the one?
Well, no, like the skill.md
Okay.
file in, like, you know what I'm saying? This tells, like, this gives enough context to Claude to tell it to call it naturally, right?
Okay.
If that makes sense. And then it said it committed, and then you can have it push. And then it runs the command and it does it. So that's basically the core of how I use skills. I like to have my commits in a very structured way where it mentions the type of commit, like a feature or a bug fix, exactly what that fix was, like CI or whatever, and then mention the description. So this is like a standard way to write your commits. So yeah, those are essentially just the rundown of my skills. Y'all can take them, but that is how I started, and then I start with the /spec, and when I do the /spec write, it will then ask me questions. What is a project, what it's for, and all of that, and I can tell Claude Code those things, and then it'll go ahead and write the spec.md that tells what the project is about. And then the same thing with the task, and then I use that to scaffold the project, if that makes sense. Yeah, hopefully all of that is good. I know I've been rambling a lot, kind of going all over the place, but hopefully everyone understands how I effectively use Claude Code. And then obviously I can manually trigger it, but I'm not going to for the sake of this. So yeah, that was the main thing, showing how you can spin several parallel subagents. Superpowers took care of that in the background. I'm going to go ahead and continue building if y'all want to build with me with your own Claude Code. I'm going to say let's use superpowers. I forgot which session. Yeah. Let's use superpowers brainstorming so I can show you how the plugin works for the next phase. And it's able to load the skill, and it's able to check the current state of my file, everything up to phase 3. And then it asked me further questions. So it's all about building the scheduling agent for the appointment. Needs to decide which. For now, I'm just gonna I'm gonna ask it which is the best one and go with that. The best part about this is that everything's on the fly. So and then I just have it keep picking the best one. You could have this be a / command or a skill as well. Have it like when it asks for options, you can do that. I just don't do it because I just like type it manually. It's not something that I see as a thing where I want to make it a skill, but definitely in the future I could pick and choose what's best. But yeah, basically this is all like the brainstorming that's from the Superpowers plugin. It's just very, very well depth and very well done.
Can you only use one plugin at a time, or?
No, like you can naturally trigger one. Plugins just have skills, right? So you just naturally trigger, right?
Okay.
If you went up, you saw that when I told it to brainstorm, it loaded the skill,
Yeah. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Those are the same skills that we make.
Okay.
It's just their
Oh,
skills,
their
right?
skill,
It's
okay.
just their
Yeah,
skills.
yeah.
Like if you go into that is literally like, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, so then it's gonna tell me how it's gonna build and how it's gonna do it, and then I'm gonna say sure, and then it's gonna start building it. Then on the side, I can have it test like running in dev. So I can have it like test how to run in test running in development mode for this project with Docker Compose. So now I have it. Now I have Docker running on the side where it's able to see how the behavior is in development mode, and then it's also on my left session is essentially just continuing to scaffold the task for me. Oh yeah, I think it's pretty much done. At the end of every task, to run tests. Yeah, to run tests. Yeah, there we go. So what I just did is at the end of every task, I like to have it run tests. That way make sure everything that is intended to behave correctly, right? That's the whole point of tests. So so now I told it explicitly that when every task is done, it's going to run those tests and make sure everything passes. If they fail, then Claude will then fix them before they complete. Hopefully everyone's following on the same page. I know I've been rambling a lot, so yeah. It doesn't have a test URL. Just Docker Compose up. Sure, let's continue. So now it's going to read back in my task.md and it's going to continue the build. And then we can like run the test. We can run the app to see how it's behaving in local mode. I think oh yeah, I did another slash. And then you can see on the side, it's also building another task. So that's kind of how you efficiently use Claude Code, right? You use multiple sessions to be able to do multiple things in a sense. So I use one session to be able to do the building, and then another session to be able to do the testing in local. So what happened? Fix the failed tests. So I have another session that'll make sure that the tests are fixed when they fail. And just have it keep building from there. Anything else you want me to show and see? The whole point is this for y'all to see. Like, I know this stuff. What do y'all want me to show y'all?
What are your favorite skills?
My favorite skills? Like my own skills?
What are the favorite ones for you to find, like front end skills or something?
Honestly,
What do you like?
the ones I like from anyone or
Anyone. The ones you've created.
the ones I created, I told you, like, I like the commit skill, because that just does my commits in a very well done way.
I'm sorry, I gotta go.
Yeah, see you
Really
later.
cool, so thanks
Yeah,
for-
the video should be posted later, so you can take a look at it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah, of course. So I like the claude.md setup skill, but I don't really. Okay, it's good, but like obviously you have to keep refining your claude.md. I think Ash has mentioned that a lot of times, and that's really important. So I have that to like start my claude.md. I like it, but it's something that I keep refining, obviously. I like my commit skill. I mentioned that. I'm a really big fan of PR review. I don't know if you've been seeing the work that me and Ash have been doing, but like we run PRs purely through Claude, and I'm sure Will is aware too. Like we do it purely.
Yeah,
So
they do a lot of this. Like they take $25 per PR. Is that what it is?
well, we're not using Anthropic API. We just make a skill to have Claude like directly comment on a PR.
Or really?
Yeah, Anthropic API is like bull.
By the way, like, do you have like a skill for CMOS?
For CMux, I don't use CMux. I use Ghosty.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought like, cause the way I do it is like I pane my sessions like separately, like a Linux tiling window manager. I don't know if you've heard of that. I come from Linux, so I just like have like another session that I run, and then like you know what I'm saying, like it's just tiles. So
I use UWM.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, I know Ash does it like he manually like clicks and like creates another session, and then like he just clicks between them. I'm not a fan of the mouse, so I just like to tile it. Yeah, so that's how I like do my multiple Claude Code sessions, and I like to have sometimes I do the task in multiple different sessions, but most of the time I'm just having one session to actually do the scaffolding, another one to make sure all the tests are okay, and then another one to like kind of make sure like everything in local is running well. And then whenever I get to the point where prod is deployed, I have another session that checks for prod. That's the way I like to run it. Basically different things that happen at once. It's really all personal preference. I mean, when you get to like front end, back end, you could do that separately as well. But the problem is like I know recently Claude had like it wasn't dispatch, but it was like some recent like feature that Anthropic rolled out that lets sessions talk to each other. Channels is what it was called. Yeah, I haven't experimented with channels. I'm really behind on Anthropic updates because I've had exams and they ship hella fast. So y'all know that. So like it's hard to keep up for sure. But I'll probably keep up this weekend and like get up to date with channels and everything. And I'll probably like show how I use channels later on. But I can't show channels right now because I haven't messed with it fully. But channels are honestly great. Like one of my friends, I think he uses channels pretty well. So yeah. But the main thing was to really show my skills and to show the sub agents. Like I think you saw the sub agents that were running as tasks. That was just done via superpowers. So yeah. Let me debug this and see if everything is good. I think Claude Code is trying to default me into using the homebrew installation of Postgres, but I installed the graphical version, so I'm gonna have to see if it figures that out. Let's just do Docker. So this is to handle all the local deployment. This is handling all of the building. And then I'm gonna have another session to run current tests, make sure everything is okay. And then I think Claude is running it. It's running it, noticing some failures in the tests. These two are essentially fixing tests. I forgot that in my Docker Compose, I told it to fix it. So, but I'm just showing y'all how you would use multiple sessions. It's saying everything's passing, but it's apparently, yeah, there we go. Okay, we're good. I haven't messed too much with /loop. I don't know. I've just been like I said. I need time to catch up on all the Anthropic updates. But I manually triggered the / command to keep checking for the tests when they happen, when new ones get rolled out. But this is literally how I build. Like everything is happening in parallel, and like we're almost done building this application already. You can see that on the side, Claude it's kind of like a sub agent in a way. It launches another sub agent to like kind of do the deploy, or not the deployment, but like the running in the Docker container.
Wait, so like all three of your sessions are three different agents, is that right?
3 different sessions, like 3 different manually triggered Claude sessions.
Oh, okay, so each session they have 3 agents, or
Yeah, or how many ever sub agents it chooses to delegate. I kind of explicitly forced it to delegate 3. It chooses naturally based on like how the tasks work. But the way I do it is I just told it to do those at a time, because I like it makes more sense for me to tell when to run in parallel, because I'll know I'll know which tasks should be done in parallel, which can't, right? If I were to run like 2 tasks in parallel, one task may depend on the other. Like if I write a backend, the backend depends on the database.
yeah, but like how do you like delegate the tasks? Like for example, if you have one session and
Yeah.
you just do all the things like the testing and the building, like how can you simultaneously do other things? Like you want to split it up, right?
Well, that's what I did. Like the whole point of the splitting was to do the test up to that certain task.
Oh,
Like that's why like I'm kind of just showing you like the task.md, but like that's kind of like the way I do it. That's really the main part. So like when I finish up to here, the other session that's running the tests is making sure everything is healthy up to here, and then my left session was doing this task, if that makes sense. It's doing the next one. It's preparing ahead. That one is just making sure the state of the application is good in development mode. Yeah. So like that's why it's like with AI, it's so difficult to teach this stuff, because it's like I have it written. Here's like my best way to explain it, but yeah. But that's that. And this is all via a skill. Like this was all done via a skill that I manually triggered. So yeah, it's all skills at the end of the day. Like MCPs are dead in my opinion, because you just have skills. So yeah, yeah. I guess keep it rolling. Have it keep running the test up to the task that's not being built, right? This is currently building phase 5. It runs the test up to phase 4. And then Claude actually wrote in the Docker file to run the test before actually building, which is crazy. But yeah, I'm a very big fan of software testing. I just don't write the test anymore. Claude does, but you still should do it. especially with AI, right? Because AI can write bad code sometimes, or it can hallucinate. Y'all know how to resume sessions, right? You don't just keep like pressing Claude to do new session. Y'all know you can resume sessions with Claude. Resume. Okay, just making sure.
So you can bring back any session?
Yeah, like you know ChatGPT, you have the sessions on the side, you can click on them.
Yeah.
This is TUI, right? Terminal user interface. So you just use Claude -- resume and you can pull up your sessions in that path, and then you can like hit enter to resume that session. Well, I'm glad someone figured that out. I'm glad someone learned something today.
So does Claude have like memory of other sessions, or does it only have access to information within the session?
Most of it is like within the session. There is channels. Anthropic rolled out channels that let you communicate throughout sessions. So that was the best part. So I haven't experimented with those yet because that was like right before we came back for break.
Okay.
So and then my classes started, so I never really got into it. But yeah, I'll definitely like show that in a separate video or something.
How do you also like follow up on like the new updates? Like, do you use like YouTube, Twitter, like
Twitter, YouTube, you name it.
everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot the main channels, but literally Anthropic, I follow them on LinkedIn.
Okay.
They are obviously the main source. And then you follow like literally Boris. Boris will tell you it as well. Boris is the Claude Code guy. He's the guy who comes behind Claude Code. Yeah. All right then, yeah. So it was fully done. I kind of want to pause because I know a lot of stuff happened, but what do you want me to show y'all?
Do you have any sub-agency work to use?
Like consistently?
Yeah.
I do them varying by project, like skills. Like I'm very personally like everything should be project based, just because I don't know. Like maybe like my commit could be like the one thing, or like my PR stuff, but even then, I just put them in the projects with the other skills that I'll need.
Okay. So what are like the difference between like skills and sub agents?
So skills are something that
Like how would you make sub agents? Do you have to have like .md for that also?
yeah, it's all marked down at the end of the day, and then naturally it will decide when to delegate them to run in parallel.
Okay. Wait, can you show me the sub agents of this? Can you see that?
I ran them plenty of times. The big thing was when it was doing phase 3. All of these were running in parallel. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah.
Like it wasn't waiting on each other, so they were all just running in parallel.
Oh, so the sub agents are just the different tasks.
Well, yeah, because I have
Okay,
because
yeah, so they're working on the tasks. Okay.
yeah, because what is it?
Oh, those sub agents. Okay.
I have a sub agent that handles that
Okay.
here. Anything else? Do I need to explain like some of the other stuff more thoroughly?
Like sometimes it's like using too much tokens and like it's taking so long that, for example, when you run a skill or something, how would you tell it to stop or?
I mean, Control C.
Okay.
So yeah, so the main thing is like obviously like I like Hack Illinois. Y'all probably heard of Hack Illinois. But there was a kid, like there was a student, he was doom scrolling, and like he was on Claude Code, and it was thinking. And you know how like Claude Code, it shows red when it's like not able to think properly, like it's trying to come up with something but it's not able to fully do it. So it's like in red for a while, and then when it's able to think of something, it comes in orange. So it was in red for a while for him, and it was like you could see the token cost when it's thinking, right? And the token cost was like 60,000. And like he was just doom scrolling the whole time, and I'm like, "Aren't you gonna stop the thinking?" And he's like, "Oh shh," and then he stopped it. But honestly, when it's thinking like that for so long with the skills, the best way is to either launch a new session or have it refine the skill. At the end of the day, everything is Claude done, right? None of this I wrote manually. Obviously, y'all saw. None of it was done manually. You just have it refine the skill if it's thinking too much. Like tell it specifically on a, like, I don't know, if my commit skill was thinking too much, tell it specifically, this is the format I want it, this is the description it should hold, it should follow this template,
it should follow directly. It follows from if you put it in .claude skills, it's going to follow directly and do it. Yeah. Like, that's just the era we live in. We live in an era where Claude writes the skills itself. Claude writes the sub-agents itself. Claude writes even its memory itself. Claude does Claude. Yeah.
Andrew, thank you, man.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully I covered a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I learned a couple things.
That's good. Yeah. I hope I.
Before you test.
Yeah. Good luck, you too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, do you use Opus 4.6 all the time, or do you have it manually go between different models?
I mean, I can have it switch, but I just feel like Sonnet is the most consistent.
Okay.
Like
For
Sonnet
token
4.
usage?
Huh?
For like token usage and like, so does it drain? Because Opus drains a lot more tokens.
Oh yeah, Opus drains more tokens.
So you use Sonnet for all this stuff?
Yeah, most of it's Sonnet. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully y'all learn stuff. I really hope so. Cause I don't know if I was teaching it well.
It was good, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess just to summarize, like you have the docs and the skills and then the sub-agents, right? The agents.
Yeah.
Those are the main three things, and you want to make sure you go like refer to the docs and make sure
So, I probably should have showed, but yeah, start with the docs, right, and create a specification with how the project should be like, and obviously that's on you. You tell Claude what you want your project to be, what you're building, and what you're doing, and everything. And then once you do that, you then have it split into the task, which is my task skill, and then I have the build skill, which reads from both of those to build the project. Thank you all for coming. Hope you all learned stuff. Yeah. Hope I addressed all your questions, and thank you for those. Thank you for all those questions. Yeah.
Are you going to the data phone, right?
Yeah, tomorrow.
I am also.
Yeah. Good luck. Yeah. Hopefully you learn stuff. But yeah, that's it. And then it runs and it builds based off the tasks.
And then also test, right? When
Yeah.
do you do that? You do that after build, probably, or it doesn't
After it builds on each task.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Because Claude can write, like I said, Claude doesn't write good code, so
Yeah.
sometimes it messes up. Claude even fails on its own tests, so it reiterates, it goes back and it fixes it. And like the reason why I do all of that is because of the fact that like it needs to run fully autonomous. Like you saw like the way I ran with the sessions, I didn't touch anything. I just let it simmer and let it go.
Yeah. The thing is, it keeps asking for a bunch of like stuff like that.
Okay,
You actually
the way you
go-
fix it is you just shift tab to accept your edits. But that's really mainly for code, but I still do that because I want to make sure it knows what it's doing.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I did a good job today though.
No, it was good.
No, it's just like I didn't sleep last night, so
Yeah,
it's like
fine. I think after like you explain like how you got started with it, because I think all of us are thinking about how you got this like set up. Right?
yeah, I wanted to show that, but I thought it would take so much time.
Yeah, because like most people when they're starting, they start off with a blank screen, and it's
Yeah.
confusing when you have like all this code and people wondering like how you got here.
Like I tried to explain that like for the sake of time, I already did it.
Yeah.
So like, but if you want to start, I mean, I can show it really quickly if you want. But
Yeah, I mean it's just.
I think
yeah,
I
you
was,
explained it, yeah.
I did a good job explaining it, hopefully.
Yeah, you did.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think the hardest part is just setting it up, and all this stuff is just like you just sit there and make it run.
Yeah, by doing by giving it the structured
Yeah.
way via the tasks
Yeah.
and the spec,
Yeah.
and then the scaffold,
Mhm.
it's able to do it and it's able to split it in a way where it's done efficiently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, for a lot of these stuff, it like requires APIs. So like, do you pay for that, or like how do you like manage? that?
Google Cloud, I have a very generous student free trial.
Wait, Google Cloud.
Cloud.
Google Cloud.
And that's where I use Calendar API and all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like if you actually want to like call APIs that like charges money, and I don't want to spend money. so
Yeah, well,
that's the big-
I spend $10 for Anthropic API, but that's it. And then I
Okay.
pay for Cloud Pro, obviously.
Okay.
But Google Cloud, I have the student free trial.
Okay.
And because I'm making like this stuff for the club, like Google Cloud often lets me extend that free trial.
Okay.
And like they do very generous stuff. So Google Cloud is always great. And like all the calendar API, all of that was via Google Cloud. I actually want to see how it ran. I didn't get to show the actual demo that happened. But I mean, I don't really mind showing the, because that's not right. But because the main goal of this was to show you how I use Claude Code to build. And I think I hopefully I did a really good job of that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. How do you do it differently
How do I do it differently than Ash? I don't really know. I mean, the way he does it is like, he does it in a simpler way like this.
Yeah, I feel like everyone just does it the same way.
Cause yeah, it's all about being efficient
Yeah.
with the tools. Cause like a lot of people, they just I don't know, they just tell it. They just start from the beginning. Like they don't like write the specs and they don't do all of that, right?
Yeah.
Like spec-driven development is really important. There's a video IBM made about it.
Okay.
A lot of people just start coding, like start having Claude write the code.
Yeah, I used to do that too. I didn't realize there were like docs in that concept.
Yeah, hopefully today like
Yeah,
told you
yeah.
that you need to be able to like write those templates, write
Yeah.
those things, and
Yeah.
do.
It's true.
Yeah. Did you understand how I use Claude Code
Yeah.
effectively?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dude, I don't know. Like this stuff came naturally to me. So it's like when I have to run like a workshop like this, it's kind of hard for me to like show you how like because I
know,
just
feel
came
like, I
naturally.
feel like people can do it naturally, but like they're always looking for like what's the most efficient way, the best way to do it.
Yeah, that was my efficient way in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go catch an exam.